friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, I'm Lori, and if you are a returning crochet friend, welcome back. Okay, so today I thought I would do something a little bit different than I normally do. Since it is spooky season and we all know how much I love all things spooky, I thought today I would share a roundup of all of my favorite plushie patterns for Halloween. Now, you can see behind me, I've got a few friends already waiting, but I'm excited to share some patterns that I have found. So a bit about me, if you are new here, I'm Lori. I love to crochet creepy things. I started crocheting last November, it was last Thanksgiving, and then I started my business, Stitch and Moan, in January. So this is my first spooky season as a crocheter, and I am loving it. Halloween has always been my favorite holiday. I love everything about it. I love everything about it. I'm not even going to start listing things. But since it is my first spooky season crocheting, I'm seeing all of these great new patterns from all of these designers, and I want to do all of them. Like every single Halloween pattern, I want to do it. So since there are so many, and I haven't been able to try them all, these are the ones that I love, that I have tried, for the most part. I rounded up more than 18 of my favorite ones, and it was very hard narrowing it down to these. But these are ones that, for the most part, I have done most of them. And I enjoyed them, and I wanted to share them. So this video is going to be broken down into 3 sections. The first section of the video is going to be the free patterns. These are either patterns that I found on Instagram or on YouTube tutorials that you can follow along with. The second part is going to be the paid patterns. These are patterns that I paid for. They're on Etsy. Some of them are on Ribbler. I bought all of mine on Etsy. And then the final part of the video is going to be a wish list. Now, those are patterns that I love, but I have not gotten to yet, and I might not be able to, but we'll just see. Like I said, I've made almost all of them, but there are a few that I haven't, and we're going to save those until the end. Okay, so I have my notes. So if you see me looking down, that's why. And I'm trying to leave this area over here for pictures. The ones that I have made, I have most of. There are a few that I've made that I've already sold, so I don't have the physical actual plushie here with me, but I will pop in a picture of the one that I made. So to start with, and you may notice a theme at the well, I love spiders. I love spiders. My kindergarten class, our classroom pet was a tarantula, so I think that's part of the reason why I'm not afraid of spiders. So the first pattern is the Jelly Bean Spider from Darling Maple Designs. This, I made him in Parfait Chunky, and you can see he's kind of small, but I have made this pattern before in blanket yarn, and I'll pop some pictures in there. And honestly, like, he's a good size in the Parfait Chunky, but I love the big ones. I don't have any physical ones because I've sold all those. This one, you know, he's cool. I like how his legs are all kind of wild. But anyway, this is a free pattern on their website, and there is a YouTube tutorial to follow along, which is good if you are a beginner, because doing the legs and the body, this is a no-sew, by the way. Doing the legs and the body was a little tricky the first couple of times I did it. Now I can do it in my sleep because I've made so many of them. The second one, surprise, is also a spider. But this is Spoo the Spider. And I forget how to pronounce the name of the creator, but I will have it in the notes and everything. This is another no-sew, and I got to the point where I was like, almost had this memorized. This is in Big Twist Posh. I forgot what it was called there for a second. This is in Big Twist Posh. I forgot the size of hook that I used, but I think he is adorable. Very popular. I charge like $10 for these because they take like no time to make, but love him. And let's see. Okay, the next one is usually one of my biggest sellers, and it is Lovey the Rat from Crochet and Tell. Now, I tweak it, and I know that's like a big no-no in the crochet community. I do tweak this pattern just a little bit to make it market friendly. I am not even sewing all of those legs on. So what I do for my rats, I do baubles for the legs, for the feet, and I don't do the heart for the tail. I just do like a regular tail. These are usually my best sellers at any market. So I highly recommend having rats at any kind of like Halloween market, spooky market. And of course, you know, dark gray for Remy. But these are crazy popular. And I always get a lot of chatter around this section of my table. People are always stopping by, picking them up, and they are a very good conversation piece. So I recommend doing rats, and that is a free pattern on Instagram. Okay, the next one is another favorite of mine. This one is the third one I've made. I've sold the other two, but it's another free Instagram pattern. It is Walter the Voodoo Doll from Chrissy Spooky Crochet. And here is one of mine that I've made. I might pop in another picture of the other one I made because I do the stitching different on them. I used a bigger hook size on this one, so he turned out quite a bit bigger than normal. But I love voodoo dolls. I love making them. I want to, hopefully one day I can design my own. That is on my list, to design my own. But for now, this one is a great one. I sold two at one of my conventions that I did over the summer, and they were very, very popular. So he's coming with me to my next show, and hopefully he goes home. But this is another fun pattern. I love, 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 love it. And then my next one is Zero from Nightmare Before Christmas. I made him for one of my shows recently, and he was the first thing I sold. Like, I was barely finished putting everything out on my table, and he got snatched up. But this is from Crochet by Sammy, another free Instagram pattern. He worked up so fast and was a lot of fun to make. Very easy, very straightforward. And I am someone who struggles with rows. I am a rounds girl. I like doing things in the round. Doing rows, turning chain one, turn at the end, usually messes me up pretty bad, and it turns out not good. But this pattern was a lot of fun to make, fast, and it was very easy. So, and it was enjoyable too, which is a big thing. But he's so cute. Okay, and then the next one, okay, I'm looking down at my notes. I've got everything like spread out all over around me. The next one is the Little Ghost from Annie Caraway Art. This is another one I love making. He's fast. He works up quick. I did painted safety eyes. One of my little stickers came off. I did just painted safety eyes on this one. And then it is a YouTube tutorial, but she also has like a pattern pack with like different little hats that they can wear. For market prep, I just did the regular, just plain ghost, because I didn't know if people would want to have like a witch hat or a frog hat or whatever. And, you know, I thought the ghost was plenty cute enough. And he worked up pretty fast also. Like at one point I got this down to like an hour. And it's really easy for market prep because you can just do the outside and the frills and then put the eyes on or sew the eyes on. I did some embroidered eyes on a couple of other ones, and then you stitch up the bottom, and it's super fast. And speaking of Annie Caraway, the Loaf Cat. I actually bought this pattern before she brought out, before she did her YouTube tutorial. So it is a paid pattern, but there is a YouTube tutorial for it. So technically it's a paid pattern, but you can get it for free if you need the help with like the ears and the baubles. I made a bunch of black cats for my last show and they were my best seller there. But I mean, what is more Halloween than a black cat? Every witch needs her familiar. But this, you know, easy pattern, you can do a lot of different colors. For Halloween, obviously, I'm gonna just make a bunch of black ones for my next market and see how they do. But it's a fun pattern, it's easy, and you know, it works up super quick. Okay, so according to my notes, my next pattern is the Chubby Bat pattern from Naomi Crochets. Now, I would love to be able to show you the bat that I did, but I sold it. I was going to keep him for myself, but I decided to take him to my last market and someone snatched him up very quick. I made him in like a lavender purple. I don't even know if I have a picture of him. After I'm editing, Lori will see if I have a picture and put it in here, but I don't even think I had a chance to get a picture of him. But the Chubby Bat is a cute pattern. There is some sewing involved. You have to sew on his ears and his wings. So just be mindful of that if you are planning on market prepping. But they're very cute. And apparently purple is a very popular color. So just keep that in mind. And then the next pattern that I love for Halloween is this cauldron. It is from Stitch by Faye. It is a free pattern on her website. I mean, look how cute that is with the little bubbles. I had these at my last market and all kinds of little girls walked in front of it and picked them up with like, look at the potions, and it was just adorable. So these, I mean, how, you know, very Halloween, having a cauldron full of bubbling potions. It was easy to make. It was more than an hour, I think, but I don't remember now. But it was pretty straightforward. The only difficult part was the round with the feet, just because it's the pattern. If you do it, you'll know. But it's an easy pattern. It was fun to make, so definitely try that one. And then the last of the free patterns is another YouTube tutorial, and it's a little pumpkin. I'll pop that up here. Little pumpkin. And this is fun because it's not so overtly Halloween. You could have this out, you know, for fall and keep it up through the entire season, but had to have a pumpkin. So, all right, so that concludes the free portion of our patterns. Now we're going to move on to the paid ones. Now some of these I have purchased and some of these I was a pattern test for, but I love them, so I have to include them. And the first one is, surprise, another spider, Zeke the Zombie Spider from Spooky Hooks Crochet. And here's mine. I used blanket yarn with him, and you can see that he turned out big. I think I used a smaller hook size because I didn't want him to be so huge, but she designed him to be like a big plushie. So what I think would be super cool is to make him in like one of the super big plushie, like plush yarns, like Parfait Plush or Parfait XL or Sweet Snuggles, and have him like as a display in like a really fun bright color. That would be a great attention grabber, I think. And speaking of Sweet Snuggles, this is a no-sew pattern except for his brain. So if you know, you know. He wasn't quick to make. You have to make all these legs and then crochet them in, but it was still a fun pattern to work up. And I think it was very cool to like have his little brain there. But yeah, this is a cool one too. And then my next one, okay. The next pattern we all love is Jack and Sally, and this is from done by Danielle. If I say your name wrong, I'm so sorry. I mean, you have to have Jack and Sally for Halloween. We had Zero already. You can see I've got Oogie Boogie. He's coming. So you have to have Jack and Sally, and there's my big Jack back there. And then I made these two with the Catch Velvet yarn, so they're a little smaller in size. That hair was an experience. It was more than 2 hours right there. But I didn't make her for a long time because I was intimidated by all these color changes. No problem. Her hair took me longer and was more of an effort than all of those color changes were. So, but I love her. She was a big hit at my last show. And then there's Jack. So these, I bought them as the set. I think you can get them individually, but I bought the set and I sell them as a set, just because they belong together. And then let's see who's next. Since we were just talking about Jack and Sally, Oogie Boogie. He is like my favorite character from that movie. This is from Nerdy Knits on Etsy, another paid pattern. I bought it when she was running a sale, so it was like $4.50. But like, I love the eyes and everything about him. This one took me a while to make because this was the first one that I made. And she does have a TikTok tutorial for how to put the head on, because that was an experience. But this one was the first one I made, and as soon as I was finished with him, I started my bright green one. Fun pattern to work through. And then you can see my other one back here. He is actually made with the new, what is it, the Demi Pearl, the big yarn from Michaels, and I love how he turned out. You can see the size difference, but that's another, incredibly popular pattern. Highly recommend that one. And then for those of us who like a little more creepy, different kind of stuff, these are so much fun. Zombie head hangers from Twisted Tales Crochet. This was my very first pattern test that I ever did when I started crocheting. And I had no idea what I was doing, but still it managed to work. So here's one of mine that I did for a horror convention that I went to. This is one that didn't sell. And I mean, how much fun is that? That got a lot of conversations going at my table at HorrorCon. But he's a lot of fun to make. It looks kind of daunting and overwhelming, but he totally isn't. It was a lot of fun to make. I can't remember exactly how long it took. Not long. And then just for fun, that green is glow in the dark. And I do that also on my loaf cats. Going back, that green on his eyes, the eye detail, that's glow in the dark. And everybody loves that. And then, okay, so this is another pattern test I did. I would have bought this pattern anyway. It is from AQ Crochets. It is her 2-in-1 zombie and Frank pattern, or Frank and zombie pattern. Now, I have to get the price tag off of him, hang on. I have my zombie that I did for the pattern test. So here he is. And I used the Very Berry Parfait Chunky for his brain, because I don't have like light pink in a yarn this size. And it was incredibly starchy, so the brain detail was very difficult, because I also have like ridiculously tight tension. So this took a long time. But I think with a softer yarn, it wouldn't have taken very long, because I mean, those are rounds and rounds of bubble stitches. But look how cute he is. Now I also did her Frankenstein, but I sold him. So I'm gonna try to put a picture of him here if I can find it, because I did have a photo of him for the pattern test. And I'm putting the price tag back on him. Okay, so now we have reached the end of the ones that I have already made. So now we're going to start talking about my wish list patterns. And the first one is the Chunky Bat from Mom Stitchetti. I love this bat. A lot of the bat patterns that are out right now, I'm not crazy about, because you fold the wing and then do like the detail, and I don't like the folded wing part of it. This wing I think is so cool. I don't know if I'm gonna have time to get around to this one this year, but hopefully next year I'll be able to do this one. But I love this pattern. And then speaking of AQ Crochet, she has the witch. I haven't gotten to this one yet. I've heard it takes a little while to do, but I love how it looks. It is just so cute, and I love that it's the 2-in-1, so you can do the curls or the braid. I love this pattern, and it's another one that I really want to try before the end of the season. Now this one is not for everybody, but this is a pattern that I have been kind of obsessed with. It's the goat from Grinning Goats. Just slow down to say that. And I have seen so many people on Instagram make this, and the color combinations are incredible. And they turn out so amazing, and I think that you could do these so neat in like different Halloween colors. Like I've seen Beetlejuice inspired ones that are just amazing. I would love to get this. This has been on my wish list for a long time. Maybe one day I'll actually get it. Okay, now since these are Halloween patterns, I feel like I have to add our favorite Halloween characters, like our scary movie characters. And you can see I've got 2 right here from my personal favorites. And these are the slasher patterns done by Danielle. I've done this guy and this guy, and obviously him. I have the scary movie guy, but he's not out right now. And he's at like a bigger, like a jumbo sized. But those are awesome for Halloween. She has, if you look on her Etsy or her website, she has all the different classic horror movie characters. She just came out with a book. Haven't gotten that yet, but I'm so excited to get it and make every single thing in it. And I mean, you've probably seen these all over the place, but they are a lot of fun to make, and they are attention grabbers because, I mean, every time I take them to a show, I get like, oh my gosh, I've never seen one of these before. And they are usually, when I do take them, and I don't always take them, just depending on my venue, I sell quite a few. But these are awesome. You can make them in different sizes, and I love them. And I can't wait to make more of them. And then finally, along the lines of the slasher patterns, or like the Halloween patterns, would be Kindle Crochets. Hers are a little smaller, and if you're looking for like minis, because these are like, these are bigger and they have a lot of detail in them, so they would demand a higher price point. But the Kindle Crochet ones, they're smaller. I have not been able to do any of these yet. I haven't made any of them. I don't own any of these patterns, but I have my eye on like most of them. I've done some of her other patterns, but not any of her horror characters. But these would be awesome for markets too. They're a little bit smaller, and I like to have like mini versions of the bigger ones, just if, you know, somebody loves one of the big ones, but they can't spend. I usually charge like $80 for Jack, and I understand that that's not something that everybody can do. So I always try to have like smaller versions, but maybe not as detailed, so other price points can enjoy them also. But Kindle Crochets, hers are awesome. I love them. And hopefully I'll be able to add some of those to my inventory very soon. But that is where we're going to wrap up. I hope that you have found some new patterns, or If you've had some in your cart or on your wish list, like me, and you've been kind of like, oh, I don't know, I hope that I've helped some choosing. If you know, you've been kind of like, oh, I don't know if I want to get that or not, or I hope I helped. But it was very important to me to have patterns that I have made, and then be able to talk a little bit about making them. They all came together pretty easily. Like I said, the only thing I ever had, the only real problem I had was the brain here, but that was all on me. I have very tight tension, and this skein of Parfait Chunky was incredibly starchy. So that was just not a good combination, but everything else works out quick, pretty fun to make. Might not always be like totally market friendly, but if somebody's looking for something unique and you have something like that, then you know it's a pretty good bet that, you know, if they don't buy it, they'll at least remember it, and then, you know, down the line, who knows. So I hope you enjoyed my roundup. This is my first roundup I've ever done, so of course it has to be Halloween patterns. And if you like patterns like this and, you know, crochet like this, I'm thinking of actually leaving this up year round. I don't know. If you like more of the alternative, creepy, you know, kind of crochet, then this is definitely the place to be. Like this video if you liked what you saw. Comment, tell me what your favorite pattern is, if you saw it on here, if I've missed any, which I'm sure I have. There are so many out there. Tell me your favorite pattern if I didn't say it on here, and I'll go check it out and most likely add it to my wish list. Subscribe to see more videos like this. I'm creepy even after Halloween, so not sure what we're going to be doing afterward, but we'll figure it out. So thank you all for hanging out with me for my first roundup, and happy crocheting.